Hi Zach, how are you?
I'm all right, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Much happier now the sun's come out.
Yeah, it's looking nice. I might have to head outside after work.
Yeah, it's looking absolutely lovely. Perfect. Welcome. I can see that we've got attendees kind of coming into the Zoom room now. My name's Becca and I'm the project manager for Pathways, and we are based at the University of Leicester, and I'll tell you a bit more about us and what we do shortly.
My name is Zach, and I'm also from the Pathways team. I'm one of the events and hub assistants.
Right, we'll just wait for a couple more people.
Lovely.
So this presentation is accompanied by a video that is just about to go live and be launched on our YouTube. So if for any reason you're not able to join us for the entirety of the session, or if you wanted to go back and have a look at the presentation and just find out a bit more about our project, then I've just put the link in the chat, so fingers crossed that'll be helpful for you to go and have a look at afterwards. Perfect, so we'll make a start now. So good afternoon, just for those of you that have joined since I last said hello. My name's Becca and I'm the project manager for Pathway. I'm joined by my colleague here.
Yep, hello everyone, welcome. So as Becca said, my name's Zach. I'm also from Pathways. I'm one of the events and hub assistants based at the University of Leicester.
Brilliant. So Pathways are based with the University of Leicester, but we are a government-funded collaboration between the universities of Loughborough, DMU, and also Leicester College and Loughborough College. And there's 29 different partnerships just like us across the country. And so I know that there might be participants here with us today who aren't based in the Leicester, Leicestershire or Rutland area, which is the area that Pathways cover. But I do really recommend that you go and have a look at the Office for Students website. Just type UniConnect into Google and there's a map and loads of resources that will easily get you access to all the different partnerships that might be offering support to you and your students in your area. So in today's presentation, we're particularly going to be talking about our university tours. And one of the things that's been quite interesting with COVID and with being able to kind of experiment with what we do virtually has been looking at the way that we use our virtual tours. And that's something that we actually had in place since about 2018 as one of the very first initiatives the project invested in. So why invest in virtual tours? Well, Pathways felt that actually, particularly with your younger years, it's not always possible to get students off into campus as much as we would like. And definitely with quite the limited time that's available during careers, days and sessions, being able to get students off to kind of more than one university site is near on impossible, though appreciate that over the years 9 through they might have gone to more than one. So actually having the virtual tours was a really good way to introduce younger years to university campuses and to really try and start that process of critical thinking with students quite early on, and even just exploring quite basic things about what you do or don't like about one place versus another, we found to be really impactful. And then when we get further down the line, so years 10s, years 11s, and even into years 12 and years 13, they've been a really good point of reference and almost a practice tool for modelling conversations with those students about how and what choices they make for their future. So what we've done is we have got a pre-recorded insight into how we use the virtual tours, and particularly looking at how actually virtual tours can be used in a really meaningful way so that they can help support our careers leaders in schools to get evidence or get towards achieving that Gatsby benchmark 7. So I'm just going to share my screen and play the presentation. It's about 20 or so minutes long. And then what we will do is invite any questions from those of you that are in attendance this afternoon. So bear with me just 1 second and let's cross our fingers and hope that the technology gods are in our favour. And I'm going to ask Zach just to give me a thumbs up to check that the screen that I am wanting to share is the screen that you can all see. How are we looking, Zach?
Yep, all good.
Brilliant.
So why do Pathways invest in virtual tools? Well, before the funding for UniConnect was announced, the Leicestershire universities have been mulling on finding a solution to some issues that we come across in schools. The 3 higher education institutions have very proactive outreach and student recruitment teams, and they're working with a lot of the same schools that Pathways wanted to work with, and many were getting tired of being pestered for outreach activity. When UniConnect was announced, it was received with a mixture of excitement and dismay. There was excitement in that it opened up some opportunities to broaden our reach with key influencers, such as parents, carers, or wider teaching staff, but dismay in that we needed to come up with new or additional outreach work. When we coupled this with the very narrow targeting and many of our schools in the outlying county areas having small numbers of UniConnect eligible students, it was felt that we were going to be on an uphill struggle to engage schools and learners. When we were trying to come up with a solution, we were focused on a number of objectives. Firstly, we wanted to reach as wide an audience as possible, including parents, to discuss the benefits of higher education for students in our area. Secondly, it had to provide value for money and a return on investment. Thirdly, it had to have longevity and not just be a flash in the pan exercise. Many of our wider WP teams are experienced practitioners who have seen and delivered lots of events that are good fun, but don't really have any lasting impact on the learners that take part or engage with them. Finally, it had to be easy to access and easy to use. We wanted learners and parents to access the information, advice and guidance on demand, not just in schools or on parents' evenings. Luckily, we knew what we wanted, and this was an interactive tour of a university campus that gave learners an insight into higher education and student life, and that they could return to again and again. We wanted it to be supplemented by useful information or signposts to entry requirements, financial support, and wider student support, amongst other things. So is our Pathways to HE website a gimmick? Well, perhaps. Obviously, we want your students to come and talk to our partner universities when they're at fairs in your school hall, and we want you to want Pathways to come in and deliver unbiased information, advice, and guidance. We know that you want engaging and interactive sessions that your students are going to listen to and absorb, and our website is certainly engaging and interactive. And more than just engagement at school, we want students to go home and show their parents, carers, and siblings this really cool thing and the virtual reality. But to be clear, even though our website isn't a marketing tool and we don't want to promote any one single destination, that doesn't mean that our partners would want us filming miserable students on a wet, rainy day. So the photos and videos, whilst informative, are in a positive light. And virtual tours from other providers are definitely wanting to showcase the campus and show students all of the best bits. So there is an element of gimmick to them, but do you know what? They do work in engaging students with higher education. Here's some of the feedback that we've received from students and teachers who have played on our website. Genuinely, the response has been great, and the workshops that we've been able to deliver in the past have seen good student engagement. The key thing is that if we apply some structure around these sessions and virtual tours, however they're laid out or presented, then they can be so much more than a gimmick. Which leads us on to Gatsby, particularly Gatsby 7, and encounters with further education and higher education. The traditional way of driving a busload of students onto a campus may see us missing an opportunity. Gen Z students prefer to get their information online and pick it up in short, sharp chunks. So with virtual tours, we have a real opportunity to utilise these whizzy virtual resources to enhance their insights into higher education and possibly further education too. And with COVID, we've definitely seen an increase of interest in virtual tours, and it may be something that stays even if all restrictions are lifted. And it all comes down to this idea of meaningful encounters and our definition of meaningful. I think that virtual resources and experiences can be more meaningful, pick up on the gaps in the meaningfulness of a higher education or further education encounter, because they can offer what a single institution can't, and what we as a UniConnect partnership can't offer you on the scales that we'd like to. A traditional campus visit would be limited to 1, maybe 2 classes in a year group, and would be a full day out from school. With a virtual visit, we can see an entire year group over the course of a school day, and they can nip to Plymouth, to Loughborough or York all in 1 hour and take a look at the things that interest them. They can take their time exploring even after the lesson is finished. And of course, no single student gets left behind. But to make a virtual encounter meaningful will require a little preparation ahead of the exploration. Students need to have the ability to compare and contrast different options, have the opportunity to explore the learning environment, and finally to understand and find out the information that's relevant to them. Setting a meaningful activity such as our Explore worksheets will help learners focus on the site that they are exploring. So now we're going to go and explore a number of different virtual tours that are out there. We're going to show you our webpage first and the virtual tours that are available there. Then we'll head to the UCAS virtual tour page, which has curated tours and video playlists from a number of different higher education institutions. We've chosen 4 of our favourites to show you the breadth of information out there. And these 4 tours have the same basic premise, to show off their institutions as they would on an open day. However, there are some differences in how they've set it out. The tours on the Pathways website are designed to be informative rather than promotional, but still give a flavour of each individual university in the partnership. This is the Pathways website. As you can see, we've got a number of different jumping off points for students to find out what they need to know and when, see what activities they can get involved with, and discover more about us as a UniConnect partnership. If you want to go and explore our universities, then simply click on Explore a Pathway, and you can see the 4 universities from the first phase of the project. Click on University of Leicester. This should take us to our loading homepage for the virtual tours. And each of the virtual tours will have this same landing page where you can watch an intro video, have a look around, or take a quick tour. If we click on Take a Quick Tour, then each of the universities will have 10 videos that will highlight certain aspects of campus that they'd like to show off. There are some common themes across all the universities that are on the website so far, in that there'll be a video around the library, there'll be a video around the student union and the student support services, and also a video around kind of keeping fit and sport too. So those are just short, sharp videos, just under a minute long, to give a bit of an insight, quick insight into what studying at a higher education provider across Leicester or Leicestershire is like. But to explore the 360 photographs, have a look around is the place to go. And again, there'll be these 3 topics. We've got accommodation, learning, and campus. Accommodation, where you can go and explore the halls of residence, take a look and see what sort of bedrooms students are sleeping in. Campus is sort of the broad overview of each institution and kind of the main buildings. And learning is where you can go and find out more about different courses and look in a bit more depth specifically at the facilities on offer there. So we've split up the courses into sort of broad subject areas. For some of them, we won't have 360 videos, but we will have a link out to the university's webpage where students can read more about the course from the institution themselves. But if we click on Geography and Environmental Science, you can see these are the 360 videos, and you can just click on any one of them and you'll get dropped onto campus straight away. So you can drag and click to move around and have a look. And these are 360. I'm not going to do the whole thing, so you might get a bit sick. We've got navigation hotspots where you can move from room to room. And we've also got information hotspots that students can click on, and these will bring up videos or bits of information to help students learn more about the course that they're interested in. What's also really good and can help with the sort of Gatsby 7 and making things meaningful is that on the side here, you can see which other universities also offer geography and environmental sciences, or something related to that course. So clicking on Loughborough University takes us away from Leicester and into Loughborough. And then you can see that again, we've got videos. You can click into the 360 space, and so students can compare and contrast between the 2 institutions without having to, go too far away, and they can do that all pretty much in one go. And it's very easy to just hit back and then we're at the menu there. So this is Loughborough's. So this is the UCAS virtual tours page. And this is a list of tours and videos from a number of providers across the United Kingdom. And it's a really good jumping off point for students to start their higher education research, no matter what year group they're in. Some of the tours are quite interactive and quite immersive. Others are just YouTube playlists, but all of them will be giving a sense of what facilities there are on site, what student life is like. You may even have a chance to explore the city. There might be the opportunity to take part in some free lectures. So I really would recommend signposting towards this site on UCAS to help students with their options. It goes all the way from the University of Aberdeen to University of York, York St John University. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to hand over to 3 of my colleagues who have picked some of their favourites, so you can get a sense of what some of these tours look like. And then I'll talk about one of the YouTube playlists that is available that I think is also just as effective.
Hello, my name's Natalie and I'm one of the Pathways Hub and Events Assistants. Today I'm going to be walking you through the virtual tour of Falmouth University. So on this main landing page, we've got these Fs, which symbolise different subjects departments within the university. So you can see photography here and fashion and textiles here. If we take a closer look, we can click onto it and have a look at the studios and workspaces within that department, as well as the various courses that fall under that one department. Alternatively, you could pick a relevant subject from the list here and take, again, a closer look at the resources and facilities that you have within there. We also have these yellow circles, which represent points of interest within the university, such as the library, the bar, and some cafes. Again, you can click on campus life here and take a closer look at any individual cafe and bar you'd like to know more about. We've got these bed symbols here on the right-hand side, which symbolise the student accommodation. When we click on one of these, it takes us to an example of a student bedroom, which could be where you could be staying if you were a student at this university. Falmouth University is also split into 2 campuses. So actually, we can look at the other campus, which is just 20 minutes away from the first one. Over here, you find the same thing. You've got the Fs, which symbolise the different subjects, and also the circles with points of interest. My favourite feature is at this particular campus. And if we just rotate the page around here with your mouse, you will see that on this side, we've got a selection of beaches where students can go to relax, socialise, or perhaps spot dolphins and seals sometimes. To give you a sense of what these beaches look like, here are some of the images you can see when you click on them. So that's it for this whistle stop tour. Thank you very much for watching.
Hi, my name is Joe, and I'm one of the event and hub coordinators based at Pathways, and I'm going to be talking you through the Manchester Metropolitan University and their virtual tour. It's really easy to use, actually. It says you can use your headphones, but actually probably don't need to use them, as it's just music playing in the background. But all you need is just your mouse and being able to scroll through, or just by clicking the arrows on the side on your web browser, as it's just a load of images that's kind of been stringed together to make it a moving image or a video. And then on this journey, you kind of move your way through campus and you meet all sorts of different students along the way. So the first student you meet, they are a fine art and art history student. So you get to hear about their story and kind of like their experience going through university. You then move on and you meet a second student. This one is doing mechanical engineering, and you can actually go and click on the map, so you get to see where the building is and where the rest of the university and just Manchester in general. You get students can have a feel of the full picture rather than just seeing images of different buildings. You can see actually how it all relates together, which I think is a really nice idea that they've added to it. We move on to another student here who's studying fashion. And this time you get to see some images of the facilities, a little bit of kind of what it's like to study on the course. So again, something really nice to kind of help you build the image of exactly what the student experience is going to be like. Then moving on again, we meet another student who's doing sociology, and this time you get to move on and hear a bit more about the department, bit of information. So a little facts of, there's 3,500 students just within that sort of faculty. Again, really nice to have that little bit of information. And then this is probably my favorite part, is that not only do you hear about the stories, but also you can get a little bit of a virtual tour of the building itself. So here you get to see some of the facilities. It is a little bit difficult to control at times. But there you get to see various different parts of the building, even the cafe. I mean, who doesn't want to hear about the cafe and see, just where you might be eating if you go to university? So really useful that you can kind of bring the university experience to life for your students. And then we move on. And then there's also a chance to watch a video led by one of the students. And there, another idea of just kind of like the student experience, having been led by a student, of sort of like their point of view, going through the various different facilities. Before finally, we've got one last student who's doing business management. And then you get to the end and you're invited to book on to open day, and you can also find more about the university. So again, I think it's really nice that you can utilize these virtual tours to really, again, bring the student experience to life, learn an awful lot about the university itself, and then hopefully have a little bit of fun along the way whilst you're learning. So something you really, really should utilize with your students. So
hello everyone, my name's Zach and I am one of the Pathways Events and Hub Assistants, and I'm based at the University of Leicester. In this short video, I'm going to be exploring the University of Sussex campus by using their online virtual tour. So the University of Sussex online virtual campus tour begins at Library Square, which is described as being the heart of campus. And one quite cool thing about this is it's not all still images, as you can see, it's time-lapsed. So you can actually see what a busy campus looks like. You can see students going to and from. So it just gives you a little bit more of an understanding of what it's like to be on a university campus, perhaps in comparison to being at a school or a college. And you click and drag to navigate your way around. And there's lots of different areas of campus or different areas or information about student life at the University of Sussex you can click on to find out more. So if you click onto one of these circles, that will take you to a different part of campus. For example, we can find out a little bit more about teaching spaces. As you can see, that shows you the inside of a lecture theatre. And one thing that's nice about this is it's not just a big empty lecture hall. You can see students coming and going, and that again gives people exploring the campus a bit more of an insight as to what it's like to study at a university and how that might be different to teaching facilities or teaching spaces at a school or a college. You can also hear from current university students, so they can give you their experiences of what it's like to study at the University of Sussex, what they found about the teaching facilities and that sort of thing. And that's the same with all aspects of this campus tour. You can hear from current university students, which is one really nice feature about it. But if we go back to the main campus, another really good feature about this is they have these love hearts, which is places on campus that are interesting or places that they love. For example, the library along there with a quote from a student. But you can also go onto the quick links here at the bottom, which will take you to various different places on campus. So next, if we look at socialising on campus, again, this just shows you a different part of campus with more information about it there. You can once again have a click and drag around. More places we love about campus. Again, there's just lots and lots of information, lots of pictures. You can go and take tours around the Student Union, the cafes, the bars, all sorts of things. So it's not just the teaching facilities. You also build up a really good understanding of what it's like to actually be on campus and what other facilities they have there. But again, just giving a student or a young person a really good understanding of how being on a university campus is so different to being at a school or a college. So once again, if we come back to the Library Square, which, as I mentioned before, is where you navigate your way around the University of Sussex campus. As you can see, various other places on campus you can look at. You can look at the research facilities, already looked at the teaching spaces. You can also have a look at the sports facilities. We're going to have a look at the accommodation.
It's kind of like a village. I think it's.
So this gives you a chance to look actually inside to some of the rooms, look inside some of the student accommodation. so you can find out a little bit more about what it's like to live away from home. And finally, what I wanted to look at is one of the really good features of this online campus tour. It's not only because you can tour the university and the campus itself, you can also have a look at the surrounding area of Brighton. Because obviously, if you're going to move away for university and move to a different city, not only know what the campus is like, but you want to know what the surrounding area is like. I hope you found that useful, but there you have it, the University of Sussex campus tour. I definitely recommend having a bit more of a look for yourself. But my favourite feature about this was the fact that you can look elsewhere outside of campus, and also that you can hear from students and hear their experiences of being a university student at Sussex. So thank you for listening.
Right, so I'll just stop playing the video there because we have just got 5 minutes left, and I don't know what it's like where you are, but certainly here in sunny Lincolnshire, the sun's out, so I'm sure you'll all be racing off to try and enjoy some of that. So I suppose if anyone has got any questions, certainly from my point of view, really happy to talk a bit more about kind of why virtual tours and some of the benefits, certainly during COVID. But also Zach has had lots of experience in schools now running the virtual tours actually in a classroom. So if there were any questions about that, then we'd be really happy to take them or to talk you through a bit more about how it works in reality. So just ask Zach kind of, we'll see, wait and see if any of you guys have got some questions, give you some typing time. Top tips, Zach, for running virtual tour kind of sessions or using virtual tours in the classrooms. What would you say is kind of the number one kind of element to structuring that session and using them?
I think the most important thing for the sessions that I've run, whether that be online or in person in school, I think it's important to let the students sort of have the freedom to explore the campus as they want. So they're going to naturally be drawn to sort of parts of campus that they're more interested in, potentially, subjects that they prefer, they want to explore, and different things like that. So I think that's the beauty of sort of virtual campus tours, particularly the ones that we've run. It can allow students to explore, multiple campuses in one day, be it Leicester, De Montfort and Loughborough, all in one session. And yeah, just give them the freedom to explore what they want. So, when we run the sessions, we will have a worksheet that goes with it to sort of help them to find out more about university, about the sort of services and things like that are available. But yeah, I think it's just important to let them have the freedom to explore as they want, because it's a really good way for them to find out, as I kind of said in that video there, and I didn't realise how long I was going on, but as I said in that video, it gives them a really good opportunity to see how universities is so different to being at school or at college, how the facilities are so different. So yeah, I would say just allow them the freedom to explore as they want, and then try and see as much as campus as they possibly can.
Yeah, and I think we've found in some sessions they're really versatile. There's a lot that you can kind of do with them as well, and we've had some quite good fun kind of setting up almost treasure hunts within the campus tours. Students always like to try and find kind of this crime scene or different elements that's kind of hidden within all of the different kind of videos or 360-degree visuals that a lot of the tours have got. So that's a really good way to just kind of get students immersed in the session. Certainly with the older students as well, what we found works really well is, I think, like I said at the beginning, just having that kind of structured talking piece. So not always kind of, what do you like? Because a vast majority of students, particularly when they get to years 12 and 13, will have been to a university campus, but actually really trying to tease out with them the things that they don't like, or trying to get them to kind of demonstrate that they really have kind of considered their choices and have done that contrasting and comparing, we found really interesting. The other tool that we found really good is with parents. So we've highlighted some of the tours to you that we think have got points of difference and that are particularly interesting. And we have found it really effective that if students enjoy something and like with the tours, it's something they can go home and they can do at home, then actually it has been a really positive engagement tool with parents who, having been kind of shown by their students, oh, have a look at this, it works really well. And admittedly at Pathways, I guess playing a bit more into maybe that gimmick category, we do have virtual reality headsets that we use with students, and we do try and give them some of their own headsets. I've got one here actually, just kind of a little boxes like that we do give to students. Or you can do is you can make it up. Oh, Zach's got a made up one there. What you can do is they just put a smartphone in it, and we have found that it is something that students do take home to parents and say, oh, look at this, look at that, and so that's a good way of spreading the messages, really. So I haven't had any questions come through, so I feel like we've potentially been let off lightly. But please do get in contact with us if you would like to know any more information, either about Pathways as a project, or if you'd like to know anything else about the virtual reality or the virtual tour sessions that we can run in your school if you're local to Leicester or Leicestershire, or if you want to know more about other UniConnect partnerships in general that might be able to work with you. So I'm just typing our kind of team email address into the chat. So please do feel free to email us. It's reach@leicester.ac.uk. And we'll be really happy to take any questions, any inquiries, or to signpost you to people that can help you. So thank you very much for listening. And thank you very much, Zach, for joining me and sharing this webinar with me. And we'll speak to you all or see you all soon. Brilliant. Okay, bye. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.